And welcome to the Unitarian Universalist congregation of Monmouth County. My name is not Liz Tortorella. I'm subbing for her this morning. She wasn't able to be with us. My name is Bob Kelly. My pronouns are he and him, and I serve currently as Chair of Public Information. Whoever you are, whomever you love, however you arrived at this beloved place, you are welcome here. Our mission is to create community, transform ourselves, and transform the world. I draw your attention to the back side of our orders of service for announcements and service information for next week. For those on the live stream and for video viewers, the order of service link is available to you in the YouTube service description box. I just want to add briefly that tickets will be available for the upcoming Stories from the Heart event next Sunday during coffee hour, and also for the final Earth Room concert the following Saturday, the 18th. And now Yame and Denise have some other brief announcements.
Good morning, everyone. Happy Easter, happy Passover. My name is Yame, and I'm the newest member of the Adult RE Committee, and I'm here to invite you all to join us for the Work That Reconnects workshop coming up here in our community room next Saturday, April 11th, and Saturday, April 18th. The Work That Reconnects is an interactive workshop meant for all of us who are experiencing the unraveling of our political system, infrastructures, and ecosystems, and who want to turn our anger, hopelessness, and despair into purpose and meaningful action. It's based on the work of the late activist Joanna Macy and helps us reconnect with ourselves, each other, our communities, and the wider web of life. You can learn more about it by scanning the QR code on the back of your order of service or picking up a flyer that I'll be handing out at coffee hour, and I'll also be sitting out at coffee hour to answer any of your questions about the Work That Reconnects workshops. Thank you.
Hello, I am Denise Adonisio. Reverend Craig and I are part of the Monmouth Housing Coalition for a bunch of years. Ann Sherwood asked me to check it out, and as a realtor, I hope the right kind, I was in. We are having an event at Brookdale next Saturday, April 11th, to acquaint you with us and our allies in Monmouth County. We need more of you to be a presence at times and would love more lay membership. So many issues are so sensational these days that making a mark might be hard to envision. I know that attainable housing is essential. We are joined with a stellar group of teens immersed in a think tank at Brookdale, and they will be present at the event. They are our future. I hope that you will consider joining us, and there is a QR code in the order of service with all pertinent information. Thank you.
After the refreshments will be served in the community room, and people of all ages are welcome to visit with one another. If you're new to us, please do check out our website, uucmc.org, where you can sign up to get all the latest news of the congregation by email. We look forward to getting to know you better. Please put your devices on silent as we enter into worship together. Welcome again to this place of love and hope.
Thank you, Michael, for that evocation of Passover. I am the Reverend Dr. Craig Rubano, minister of this congregation, and I want to wish you all a very heartfelt mid-Passover Chag Sameach and a truly happy Easter. Thanks to all who have enlivened the sanctuary, our beloved earth room, with the flowers of the season. Today we welcome people of all ages for a multi-generational worship service with the word worship, containing within it its original definition of a shaping concern for all that is of worth. Our Director of Family Ministry, Michelle McKenzie-Creech, is under the weather, so I will incorporate Easter into my now longer reflection. And the listed ritual of possibility will wait until she can be back with us. The congregational theme for the month of April is embodying possibility. In the next weeks, I will be traveling to Mexico to engage the vital international work that has characterized our relationship with the UU Fellowship of San Miguel de Allende's Social Justice Foundation, work that gives new possibilities to the people of Guanajuato province, the skills to read, the powers to imagine, and access to unpolluted water to nourish their bodies and spirits. As you know, our connection with the fellowship has served as a model for the entire Association of UU congregations. I'm proud to represent you in this important collaboration, and I take with me the financial gifts of support that you have made. If you'd still like to contribute, the link is in my previous 2 meditations, which you receive on Wednesday. While I'm in Mexico, I will be the guest of another nonprofit whose work I will bring back to you upon my return. And I will offer a fundraising concert there to support the Corral San Miguel and Casa Europa, 2 organizations that pull together Mexican and foreign national voices in harmonies of artistic expression, possibilities that would not exist but for the initiatives they bring to fruition. Our call to worship comes to us from the Reverend Gretchen Haley, a minister at Foothills Unitarian Church in Fort Collins, Colorado. Let astonishment be possible. Whatever you have come in anticipating, whatever you expect or worry for our world, for the future, for our lives, let it go. Make space in your heart to be surprised. Make room in your soul for a new story to take shape. Let astonishment be possible at this life that remains a miracle. Imagine here the bursting of joy, relentless and resilient, coming in waves, washing over us with music and story, silence and still this dreaming together, being hope for each other, and courage to believe in this new day dawning for us all. Come, let us worship together. Like so many religious observances, including most prominently Passover and Easter, our rituals, while filled with the dawn of new possibility, are drawn from times of terror and uncertainty. As an aid to the Unitarian Service Committee's work of ensuring largely Jewish safe passage from the Nazi regime across heavily patrolled borders, a symbol was commissioned as an official stamp for exit papers, and thus was born what has become the symbol of our Unitarian Universalist faith movement, a flame in a chalice cup. Every week when we light that flame to signify the sacred space we create each time we gather, let us not forget the courage of those who came before us. We just wrapped up a month of 5 Sundays thematically tied to our stewardship campaign for the new fiscal year beginning July 1st, what will be our 70th anniversary year, with the theme UUCMC, a wellspring of hope and courage. As I and others have urged upon you, since our pledging members and friends contribute 84% toward the cost of everything UUCMC does, the congregation is truly up to the members and friends of this congregation. I urge you to consider or reconsider your pledge for this upcoming year, as the cost of placing our financial support in tandem with our values has risen precipitously. And our primary values-based financial responsibility as a congregation is to our staff. So at least once a year, I like to celebrate the members of one of the, if not the longest serving staff of any UU congregation in New Jersey, or maybe anywhere. And its members serve us exceptionally well. So I invite our staff members to come up and light our chalice this morning, and let my announcement of their milestones serve as our chalice lighting words. First up, our music director, Michael Rosen, who joined us January 15th this past year and is now celebrating his 2nd year serving UUCMC. Yes? Oh. I am the next longest serving, entering my 8th year as your minister, not to mention 3 years as your intern minister, 6 years before that. Oh, well. Our membership coordinator, whose handiwork you enjoy every week in the E-Blessed among her many duties, is Lisa Arcolio, who, yes, who joined us February 7th, 2012, and is already in her 15th year of service. And longest serving, 2 women who are at the heart of most things UUCMC, both of whom upped their duties during my sabbatical, and without whom, generally, we would be in deep trouble. Entering her 18th year August 1st is our Director of Family Ministry and Lifetime Faith Development, Michelle McKenzie-Creech, whom we wish better health and a safe return to us. And this coming December 9th, beginning her 18th year with us, is our indefatigable congregational administrator, Maggie Reardon. I don't know how many times I've almost said congressional administrator instead of congregational administrator. I think it's my desire that Maggie be our congressional administrator. But I know you will join me in a hearty thank you to exemplary people who make everything we do here possible, our staff. Thank you. For our opening hymn, Michael and I would like to share a song that celebrates the feeling always present at the Passover Seder, a wish that this same time next year, things will be better, that we will gather in a space that is holy, surrounded by those whom we love. Bashana Haba'a, next year, Its English words give us the title of our service this morning, for the song ends, wait and see, what a world it can be if we share, if we care, you and me. It's included in our gray hymnal as number 146, Soon the Day Will Arrive. I'll sing it through once in its original Hebrew, and then I'll invite you to rise at that point to join me in singing the two verses in English in your hymnal and on the screens. Bashana Haba'a. Bashana Haba'a נשל בחר מתפסת ונספור ציפורים נודדות ילדים בחופשה ישחקו תופסת בין יבא ייטול בין יחסדות או תראה כמה טוב יהיה בשנה הבאה. או תראה כמה טוב יהיה בשנה הבאה. Soon the day will arise when we will be together, and no longer will we live in fear. And the children will smile without wondering whether on that day thunder clouds will appear. Wait and see. Wait and see what a world there can be if we share, if we care, you and me. Wait and see what a world there can be if we share, if we care, you and me. Some have dreamed, some have died to make a bright tomorrow, and our vision remains in our hearts. Now the torch must be passed with new hope, not in sorrow, and a promise to make a new start. Wait and see what a world there can be if we share, if we care, you and me. Wait and see what a world there can be if we share, if we care, you and me. Oh, today, כמה טוב יהיה בשנה הבאה.
Every week in this congregation, we're provided with an opportunity to practice generosity. This is your invitation to contribute to the well-being of our congregation and to our social justice partners through the good works of organizations which receive half of the monies collected each month. This month, we're contributing to Interfaith Neighbors. Located in Asbury Park, Interfaith Neighbors is our Share the Plate recipient for April and will receive half the monies in our Sunday offerings for this month. This organization began in 1996 with the mission to assist the vulnerable in securing life's critical necessities while building healthier, more resilient communities. Multiple programs address affordable housing, food insecurity, early childhood education, and career readiness. For those of you present here in our meeting house, the plates will be passed by the ushers. Online, instructions are located in the service description box. You may join this time of generosity via text, send your offerings by mail, or charge your contribution online with a memo designating an amount to interfaith neighbors. Please give generously.
Having started my intern ministry here in the summer of 2013, my first Passover and Easter services at UUCMC were in 2014, 12 years ago. I was 12 at the time. Those of you with long recollections and or those whose teeth have never quite recovered may well grimace at the memory of the gluten-free homemade matzah that I and the youth of UU Princeton baked for that service. My promise that morning still stands: I will never bake matzah again. And yet it is bread that ultimately is responsible for the timing of both Passover and then Easter, since they emerge from spring grain harvest festivals. As many of you know, I grew up in South America, in the southern hemisphere, where the seasons are reversed. And while it was always strange that Christmas was the summer holiday, at least it was warm and fun. Easter and Passover as autumnal rites, however, are very different in terms of their cultural trappings. In some ways, maybe we got less distracted by the spring cleaning aspect of Passover and the eggs and bunnies of Easter, and perhaps more focused on the new possibilities for life that inform the holiday's hopes. Also, the connection between the two seemed more intuitive, since in Spanish, the word for Easter, a derivation of Pesach, the word for Passover, is Pascua. Because the final events in the life of Jesus of Nazareth are said to have played out during the Passover festival celebration time in Jerusalem. The word Pesach itself refers to a passing over, because in the biblical story, it is said that on the night before a people's escape from slavery in Egypt, a 10th plague passed over their houses, saving their firstborn children from demise. But the true origin of Passover's place on the calendar comes from Middle Eastern geography and the time of the grains harvest. Spring is when the grain was picked, not when it was planted. And therefore, at Passover, just as it is during Easter week, bread plays a major role. Bread is the very stuff of life, and while humans may not be able to live by bread alone, we also can't seem to live without it. So historically, first, there was a festival of bread that coincided with spring. Later, the story of the Israelites escaping from Egypt, because it became the founding narrative of a people, became associated with bread. As the tale goes, the Israelites had no time to spare when they got the chance to gain their freedom. They left Egypt so quickly they had to bake their bread before it had had time to rise. That's why on Passover we eat unleavened bread, unrisen bread, bread which hasn't been given the time to rise. That's what matzah is. It's bread that is put in the oven within 18 minutes of water hitting the flour. Matzah is also a symbol. In the same way that bread isn't given a chance to get puffed up, so too we are reminded that the freedom to experience new possibilities requires that we don't get all puffed up with pride or selfishness. Freedom requires everyone to work together in humility of purpose. Passover is a time to celebrate the generosity of spirit, time, energy, and love that allow freedom to be possible. Passover is also a time to ensure that all have bread to eat, and a time to pray that freedom and the possibilities it delivers come one day to all people who lack it. Freedom from poverty, freedom from fear, freedom from bigotry, freedom from violence. The teachings of Jesus were all about freedom and about love. He preached about humility. He comforted those who mourned, healed those who were sick. He sought justice for those at the margins of society. And he showed mercy for those who didn't or couldn't or wouldn't measure up to his ideals. He was a peacemaker, but was willing to confront power, even when espousing freedom values put him in danger of persecution by Roman authorities and religious purists alike. For 3 years, his ministry had restricted itself largely to the northern province of Galilee, an area known for radicalism, compared to the southern province of Judea, where Jerusalem had then been under the iron fist of Roman Empire for 25 long years. Jesus had built up a following across a wide swath of the outlying territory, advocating for the people in a time of empire. And with that following, he'd built a reputation that had not escaped the notice of the authorities. As the time of the Passover celebration drew near, crowds began to travel to the Jerusalem temple, the center of theological leadership for the Hebrew people. And Jesus decided that it was time to take his own message of liberation to the big city, to the very heart of power. The story goes that Jesus did not come quietly. Instead, in a mockery of the trumpet fanfares and grand parades of horses and military might that heralded the arrival of the Roman emperor to town, Jesus rode in on a lowly donkey, with ragtag crowds of supporters of all ages and genders waving palms, throwing their garments on the road for him to ride across, and cheering him with cries of Hosanna in the highest, blessed is the King, the very words reserved for the emperor. This is commemorated on Palm Sunday, celebrated last Sunday, and I have to say that on Saturday of last weekend, it looked pretty much to me like Palm Sunday everywhere, as concerned citizens rallied against a regime that has brought imperial oppression not only to people in the United States, but to an increasing number of places around the world. I know that quite a few members and friends of this congregation did and are showing up Palm Sunday style, showing up with your bodies to rallies and protest gatherings, showing up with your time and financial support to help those in need, showing up in your advocacy for those most threatened by the current regime, for our transgender and non-binary siblings in spirit who are targeted in increasingly mean-spirited ways to incite what amounts to an angry mob, and for those who are caught in the morass of immigration laws, being warped to instill terror and fear among people often already at the very margins of being able to support their families and stay safe from the terrors of their home countries from which they sought safe haven here. Over and over, Jesus of Nazareth showed up for people who were left out or bullied. He listened to people who were ignored, people whose ideas many thought were not important. He envisioned a world where the usual last would become first, a world in which everyone was welcomed for who they are. He spoke out against unjust laws and against people who were unfair and unkind. He made both friends and enemies by his teachings and actions. People who were inspired by Jesus became his followers, but even among those followers there was disagreement. And in the events of the Easter story, when he went to Jerusalem to celebrate Passover, one of his disciples turned him over to his enemies. Jesus was arrested and sent to death. Jesus' followers were confused, sad, and scared. They didn't know what to do. But one morning after Jesus died, now commemorated as Easter Sunday, it is said that some of his women followers went to his tomb carved into the side of a mountain and found the stone protecting its entrance rolled away, his body gone. In the Gospel according to John's account, Mary Magdalene saw a man whom she recognized as Jesus, and he told her not to be afraid, that he was going to be with God. Later, others of his followers believed they saw Jesus too and were inspired to carry on his message by doing what he had done in his life, so that his message of justice and care would not die with him. It is a horrifically sad fact that much of the chaos being sown by the current regime in this country is being done scandalously in the name of a man who spent his entire existence living and dying in protest to the very kinds of hate and terror that now emanate from the highest offices of our land. The echoes in our lives today of the first Easter story are striking. Political oppression and economic exploitation given religious legitimization so that the few could rule the many. In the face of that system, Jesus of Nazareth proclaimed that there was another way. The triumph and miracle of Easter is that the followers of Jesus discovered that their very notion of who God was had been altered as a result of how God-filled Jesus had been to them. And they realized that it was when they gathered together, when they ate as a community, when they meditated and prayed with and for one another, that they were most able to feel the possibility of a new freedom. And just as Passover ritualized the possibilities of freedom in communal meal settings involving bread, the followers of Jesus created a bread-centered, ritualized way of coming into diverse communion. Both ways of symbolizing people's belonging one to another. Today, when we gather around a Seder table and tell powerfully rendered stories of leaving behind everything that empire represented, Passover becomes a time to acknowledge our kindred passion for justice, for community, for mutual love and support, and for life-changing possibility. And the story of Easter reminds us that, yes, there will be fear, there will be pain, there will be tombs to grieve over, but that together, we don't have to stay there. Together, we can harness a hope that cannot be contained by a tomb. The power of these two spring festivals, centered around the sharing of bread, is in proclaiming that ultimately the enforcers of empire will not have their way with us. New possibilities are there for the savoring at all times, perhaps most powerfully when experienced with others who share our values. For together, we are strong. Together, we advocate for justice in a world of opportunism. Together, we proclaim, a message that love is mightier than worldly power, even than death. Just as spring is ultimately more powerful than winter, just as light is ultimately more powerful than darkness. Passover and Easter are not just things that happen at some point in the distant past. They keep happening every time we choose love over hate, hope over fear. Every time the truth is told when everything would dictate that it be overridden by lies. Every time we show up for people who are ignored. Every time we provide shelter to one another in a world of storming. Every time we advocate for our planet, despite those whose greed would sell it into oblivion. Every time we build a house of possibility. And those kinds of messages are just as true, just as powerful, whether the trees are blooming in spring or turning orange and red and purple in autumn. Passover and Easter are work that must continue to be done together. May it be so.
In continuing that message, I will just read the text for today's anthem, and then I'm sure you'll understand why I chose this anthem today for this year's Easter and Passover anthem. In every life, a day will come beneath an angry sky. The earthly things we've built will fall, and we will question why. Then heaven whispers in our hearts, and we are moved to see that our neighbor has become our friend, and friends a family. Love can build a house that stands forever, stronger than a wall of steel or stone. We will be a shelter for each other in the storm, and when we come together, we'll be home. For those who wander in the streets, who shiver in the rain, for all who live in loneliness, for every soul in pain, for every child who's lost the way, from every friend they knew. We pray that we may find the strength to make this promise true. Love can build a house that stands forever, stronger than a wall of steel or stone. We will be a shelter for each other in the storm, and when we come together, we will be home.
all those beautiful trees. You have to pay for them sometimes with the cough. I invite us into a time of prayer and meditation. Gift yourselves with a time of stillness. Take a moment of silence and then hear words written by the Reverend Manish Mishra Martsetti, Senior Minister of the First Unitarian Congregation of Ann Arbor, Michigan. Let's just have a moment of silence. For each child that's born, a morning star rises and sings to the universe who we are. Listen carefully. Can you still hear the song? The one sung for you when you were born? The song sung by a cosmos in motion, rejoicing at your life. You, the result, you, the outcome, you, the celebration. Listen carefully. Can you hear it still? A song of possibility. A reminder that we still have time to be who and what we need to be. Listen carefully. The vast expanse echoes a recognition that it's not always easy. Possibilities can be hard to pursue. Roads not taken, wrong turns, destinations that disappoint. Through this, the song persists. The universe sings no less because time and space wear us thin. The music calls us to recognize our individual limitations, to recognize that the song is best sung with others. Here in community, we bring alive that most primordial and original impulse, the desire to sing to the universe who we are, to celebrate and share our lives with others. Our choir sang to us that love can build a house that stands forever stronger than a wall of steel or stone, a shelter for each other in the storm. For when we come together, we are home. I invite us to rise in body and our spirit to sing our closing hymn, number 1017 in the teal hymnal, and on the screens, Building a New Way.
And we'll sing it in a slightly different way today to reflect today's service.
We are building a new way. We are building
This coming weekend, in addition to a special service being presented by UU Faith Action New Jersey leader, the Reverend Charles Laughlin, you really have two amazing opportunities to embody the kinds of possibilities that literally build transformative community. As you heard, but I'm just going to reiterate, on April 11th, the first of a 2 Saturdays workshop being sponsored by the Adult RE Committee and inspired by the work of environmental activist and Buddhist scholar Joanna Macy, led by her trainees, Carol Adams and Lee Reinert. The work that reconnects is an interactive experience done in community. Anyone who wants to move through fear and into purpose, who wants to help make this world a better place, this is a good start. A lot of work has gone into putting it together, and it represents a gift to this community. And then on Sunday, the afternoon following Reverend Laughlin, 3 to 5 p.m., come listen to your fellow congregants literally tell stories from their heart. There will be food, drink, and community. Both of these are fundraisers for UUCMC. We need one another in these challenging times. Please take advantage of all that UUCMC has to offer you. And immediately following the service, there will be a reverse egg hunt for our youngest. So meet at the back of the community room to find out just what that means. There'll be eggs involved, I know that. And I will miss you while I'm away, but I assure you that I will carry your greetings and support to the people of Guanajuato province in Mexico. We are making a difference there, and I'm proud to represent UUCMC in an international context. And our closing words of benediction come to us from the Reverend Brigitte Bechtold, a half-time minister at Beacon UU congregation in Troy, Michigan. Early signs of spring. Here's to embracing the early signs of spring, when crocus dares to peek through snow and robin perches on a still bare branch. When last year's kale plant triumphantly shouts, "I have survived the winter!" Perhaps the April fool has it right, and this is where the new year begins. With evidence of survival, with hope of resurrection, and with endless possibilities. Let us go in peace to bless this world of ours.